Hey yo, I'm Miss Linnea Lark and welcome back to my slip series. Today I'll be walking you through making a slip design while your pot is still wet and on the wheel. First thing we gotta do is center our clay. You'll see that I'm on a kick wheel, so just know that whenever you see me not doing anything, I'm busy kicking my wheel to get a faster speed. I use my straight pointer finger to find the very center of my clay. Once I feel the clay swirling around my fingertip, I push downward, opening up the vessel. While my pot is still opened wide, I use my fingertip to compress the inside base of my pot, getting an even flat floor. And then I start to get some height by pulling my walls. As I pull, I'm careful to choke or collar the top so it doesn't get irreversibly wide. I probably pulled a little too much for this one. This was the first time I had ever tried this technique, and I later found that thicker walls are a boon when adding slip to wet, wobbly walls. Oh well, living and learning. And all was well in the end. It was fine. Before I get my shape, I compress my walls with a hard wooden rib. Compressing my walls with a hard rib will jam-pack all the particles into my clay body, making for stronger walls. I now use my favorite tool, possibly of all time, a Cheryl Mud Tool polymer rib, red, size 3, very soft, long blade shaped rib. Yeah, you're welcome. It's a beauty. Unfortunately, we only have 3 in our studio, so first come, first serve. And remember, sharing is caring. I use the rib and compress from the inside to form my desired shape. It's a good idea to kind of know what shape you want to create before you get on that wheel, or else you'll end up with a shelf full of varying yet strikingly similar vases. Not that I know from total experience. Anyway, I planned on adding slip to the top bulge of my pot, but as you can see, I kept missing. This is about the time I started wishing my walls were a wee bit thicker. I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit of a wreck slapping slip on my wobbly wet walls, but once I realized this is just an unnaturally awkward and messy process, I just went for it. I found it was best to get a paw full of slip and then gently tap it onto the wall. I did this repeatedly until there was lots of slip going around. I then used my fingers to clean up the slip where I could and evenly distribute the slip in the desired areas. I used my rib while the wheel was spinning, trying to match my mark-making rhythm to the speed of the wheel. It worked, but I wasn't really in love with the irregular spacing, so I cleaned up the bottom mess with my rib and then stopped the wheel and started drawing my own evenly spaced vertical rib marks. I liked this much better, so I went about cleaning all the messy bits up. When I touched up the top, the excess slip started dripping down onto my rib section. When faced with the startling realization that if I wanted to not have those drip marks, I would have to restart this entire process from the beginning, I instantly fell in love with those cheeky little slip drips and called it a day. If I had been emotionally prepared to start over, I would have cleaned up the excess slip in the area above my design before I made the rib marks. But like I said, those drip marks are life. Totally on point. Before I take it off the wheel, I wet trim the excess clay at the bottom. And then I cut it off and let it set up to leather hard so I can wheel trim it. When trimming, first I gotta center my pot upside down. I like to mark the outside by holding very still with one finger. Once it's gone around a few times, I find the area my finger didn't touch or mark because of its off-centeredness. And then I pull my pot a wee bit in that direction. I do that again and again, making little changes by little changes until my finger can ride the pot on all sides evenly. Remember, it's best to make small calibrations. I use 4 pieces of clay to firmly attach my pot to the wheel. The first thing I do when trimming is to get the walls and base level. I do this with my favorite bamboo trimming tool. One side of it has teeth. The teeth on the ribbon tool easily level out the walls with firm, even pressure. I'm telling you, those teeth are magic. It's like an easy glide. And then I draw the inside ring of my foot on the base and carve out the middle area. Because I did a nice wet trim while throwing, I don't have much to trim off of my walls. I just do a pass or two, making sure the curve is continuous. I then detach my pot and use my fingers, sponge, and rib to clean everything up. I paid special attention to the slipped areas, making sure to smooth and round out any pointy areas that could be sharp once they're glazed. And then I sign it. I hope you guys are excited about this slip series. I feel like I'm learning a lot. Don't forget that the best thing for learning is failing. It might take you a few tries, and you might need to fall in love with your happy accidents, but if you keep at it, you'll master it. If you learned something or smiled at all, I feel like you owe me a like, so go like this video. If you're feeling inspired, you can subscribe to my channel. And if you want to see more and get notifications every time I release a tutorial, then ring that bell. Thank you and happy day.